What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have an album review for you, or rather an EP review for you. We are going to go over the latest offering from Ghoul, Noxious Concoctions. This comes out on the 2nd of February on Tank Crimes Records. This band formed in 2001 in Oakland, California, or Creepsyvania, if you've been following this band as long as I have. This is their third EP overall. They have 5 full lengths. This band includes current and former members of bands like Impaled, Exhumed, Engorged, and Decapitator. And this is like death thrash, kind of crossover thrash. At one point they were a little bit more grindy, but I think they've become more of a thrash-centric act here lately. But one thing has not changed. Their penchant for entertaining, ridiculous lyrics and themes, and the rotten, kind of blood-caked bags they put over their head. Those things, I don't think, have ever been changed.
Yeah, very theatrical, a very good time. This will probably be the first time I think I've sat down and listened to a Ghoul album, but I'm an Exhumed fan, so I mean, we're kind of in the same vein here anyway.
I forget where I first heard them. I think I heard about them because they were on tour with Gwar years ago, and
that makes sense.
Yeah, they played here in town in Toledo, and everyone I know that went to the show was like, dude, that Ghoul band that opened up for them was wild, man. And I ended up checking out their stuff. I think it was, Maniacs, I think was the first one I got. I don't know. It's kind of hard to remember which one because their album covers are all kind of ridiculous and comical. But I knew I absolutely loved it. And I was really stoked to hear this one because this band is just flat out fun. And this EP is a little bit different in a way. The opening track might be the longest song I think this band has ever written. Now, granted, there is an intro on it. The Eyes of the Witch, you have this creepy, like, synth and kind of
like feedback and just a fuzz, like a horror sample, like maybe a circus or something.
It sounds like a woman reading an incantation of some kind. I don't know, like satanic summer camp around the fire.
Yeah.
But there's like synths peppered in, and then it just kind of takes off into just thrashy chugs, but really cool melodies on top of the riffs themselves. Like, these guys like kind of these like spooky, creepy melodies. Like, they're not necessarily very sinister. They're almost kind of that bordering on like whimsical sort of sound.
Yes.
Like, honestly, I would say it's like Munster thrash. Like, it has that sort of like, kind of surf rock kind of melody to it. And I mean, that does pop up on here on Shotgun Gulch. There's a great surf rock bridge on there. It kind of sounds like Dick Dale of the Dead.
Yeah.
Or, instead of the Beach Boys, it'd be the Barf Boys or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they would call themselves.
The Barf Boys.
Yeah. Why not? I don't know what they call themselves if they were a surf rock band, but that seems kind of appropriate.
That's like one of my favorite parts of that song, too. I didn't see that coming because there is that surfer-billy rock going on in The Eyes of the Witch, but I guess I should have guessed with a track called Shotgun Gulch that there might be a little, like, I don't know, Western type of feel to it. It was like if surfer-billy was done in the West.
Yeah, but like the rest of this is very much more focused on thrash metal. Like the title track in here reeks of Slayer. Like there's big, heavy, like kind of sinister tremolos and just violent chugs, like, the kind of stuff that Kerry King would just riff on for days. I mean, he's probably doing that right now. There's even like a little breakdown section in there where the Dinner Bell Ride comes in and kind of reminded me of like, a little bit of the intro to Criminally Insane. I'm not going to lie there. But yeah, like a lot of this is more focused on thrash. Like a lot of the grindcore and I would even say death metal aspects are kind of stripped back on here, maybe minus the vocals.
The vocals are grossly entertaining. Very theatric, mixture of screams and growls and the Demolich frog burp.
Well, I mean, you have Raw Sewage on bass. I mean, he is known as Cremator on here.
Right. And
then doing the more mid to high register screams of Sean McGrath from Impaled and Engorged and a litany of other bands, too. But I like how they play off of one another. And Ross's vocals are a little bit different on here. I'm used to hearing him in Exhumed, where he supplies some extra gurgly, gross, low end. Honestly, in terms of like low guttural vocals, Raw Sewage is probably one of my favorites. Like, he's just, I don't know, just absolutely gross, and his delivery is actually pretty intelligible. Here he kind of moves up a little bit, but he still has that kind of just extra gurgle behind his vocals, and then Sean just kind of barks like kind of a thrashy bark, but it's a little bit screamier.
So you got a rabid dog and a guy with a sinus infection just yelling at you.
Yeah, but they have bags on their head, so they're keeping all the snot and gurgle to themselves. So even if COVID was around, they're still playing it safe, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for not sharing. Although sharing is caring, thank you for holding on to that on your own accord.
I mean, again, I don't think those bags have ever been changed or washed or anything, so they were pretty much just trapping every disease known to man. After one show, I can only imagine what those things smell like.
Ugh.
Now, Shotgun Gulch and the other original song on here, Rat Liquor, both are notably a little bit more kind of mid-tempo, which I was kind of surprised by because a lot of this band stuff is very full throttle. It's kind of that crossover thrash sort of energy. Like, you hear a lot of stuff that's very similar, like SOD, but kind of mix that with kind of a horror grindcore aesthetic. These songs are very thrashy and just kind of chug your face off and really supply a lot of like killer grooves and riffs. And honestly, I love like all the riffs on here. Like, they are really catchy, and generally the leads really kind of add a lot to them. But I kind of like this almost like mid-tempo hardcore sort of vibe to them.
Yeah, Rat Liquor actually is downright heavy in most parts and has some really cool syncopation going on. It's that breakdown in there with the descending melodic tag on it that's actually kind of neat. And the leads, they're pretty basic, but they're tasty and they fit the songs, and they're short, but they're squawky. It adds to the whole aesthetic.
I like the transitions in particular on Rat Liquor. That descending one I think is really fun, and the fact that they did the last one as a drum and bass thing and kind of turned into a
drum and bass, and then you get a drum solo even, and I thought that was just kind of cool.
Yeah, but it's just a catchy, kind of heavy, chuggy song. And when it comes down to the originals, because there's one cover in here, we'll go into it. But I like the fact that these songs feel a little bit more hooky. Like, they still have like that aggressive edge that you want from this band, but I think there's more attention to melody and hooks on here than maybe there has been before, because these guys arguably kind of have like kind of one gear they play, and honestly I hear a little bit more than one gear on here.
Well, it's probably because it's so fun. Like, you could tell they were having a good time, and each and every song is unique in its own right, and between the theatrical vocals and just the weird sort of whimsical riffing, like, it's just fun. And then of course you have the cover, 1-900 Deathline. It is a Funerot cover.
I believe that's the band.
We think. I don't know. I've never heard Funerot, but I'm going to have to look into it because it's obviously in the vein of these guys. Pretty short, but still chuggy, thrashy, stompy, punky.
Very punky.
Yep. And the cool horror sample at the beginning was neat.
I love the horror sample because, man, it plays off the title of the song, like 1-900 Deathline. Ghouls in your area are waiting to meet you. And, I mean, if you stayed up super late at night and watched a lot of just dumb cable TV, you were bound to run into, well, not necessarily like 1-900 numbers like that. It's a little bit different. It's more, pick up the phone.
Those were the days. All you younger people out there that watch this channel, you guys don't know about that. They don't do that shit anymore.
I'm sure you can look up all the commercials on YouTube.
It's when the cable box had A and B, and it was 99B that was scrambled, and you got to see some titties if you were lucky.
Every now and then, like slightly scrambled titty, and you might hear, well, you'd probably hear everything, but
yeah, you could hear it, you just couldn't see it. It was a real it was a real bummer for a 13-year-old me.
Damn it, I have to use my imagination again.
As far as any negatives were concerned, I didn't have a whole lot. The production as a whole is actually pretty solid. The drums sound very natural. That bass has a nice snarled tone to it. While you can hear the guitars, I thought it was very bassy overall as far as the mix, and the guitars were just a smidge too thin and got drowned out at some points. Really, that's the only really gripe I have.
Honestly, I feel like it was one of the guitars that seemed just a lot quieter, because I want to say there was like a lead trade-off on here somewhere. It might have been on the title track, that one lead was noticeably a lot quieter than the other. And I know, like, generally in production, there's a lot of times where one guitar is slightly more dominant than the other.
Yeah.
But this one feels like one guitar is way more dominant. Like, when the lead melodies are kind of taking off in Eyes of the Witch, the chug behind it feels just like a little bit thin. But overall, man, I like the sound of it, especially the drums. I think the drums sound absolutely fantastic on here. My only other gripe, and it's kind of a minor one just because I wanted more of it, Eyes of the Witch has this awesome long instrumental end. and like they're just kind of riffing, grooving. There's great lead harmonies and such. Like, yeah, it's like, dude, this is just a good time. I could hang out here.
That lead harmony is actually pretty solid.
But they start fading out. Like, what I feel like is too soon. And granted, the song had been on for over 7 minutes, but at the same time, where they ended it, I felt like yeah, you could have kept riffing on this, like, into the sunset, and I know that was kind of the idea with the long fade out, but I almost kind of wanted like the big grand end, like the live end kind of thing.
Well, yeah, that's my thing. If you're gonna make a 7-minute and 41-second song, why not jam a little bit? Like,
I mean, they did.
They did, but because when the fade out happens, the jam gets cooler. Like you can hear them like expanding on the lead, and they just start rocking out. But it fades out, and I was like, man.
Yeah, I almost was like leaning a bit closer to the speaker, like, no, come on,
keep going.
Where are you going, dude? Let's hang out.
That was
man.
sweet. Ah, shit.
But, I mean, that's honestly it as far as complaints on here. This thing is just fun. And bare minimum, I expected Ghoul to be fun. Ghoul is always fun. And we're looking forward to catching them live because they are actually touring this year. Actually, this month, they'll be in Detroit with Municipal Waste, Dead Heat, and Necrotic. So
that'll be a good show. Woo!
But overall, I'm going to give this EP 4 stars. I dig this. Like, all the songs I think are fun. The cover's a lot of fun, too. You know, minor issues with the mix. And, yeah, you faded out on something I really wanted to keep going. But, again, you know, it's an EP and you had to end it someplace. So, whatever. The main point is the music is fun. I do kind of slightly miss the grindcore aspect of their sound. But at the same time, we still have Impaled, we still have Engorged, we still have Exhumed. So these guys have grind all over the place. It's kind of cool hearing this be like a little bit more centered on thrash metal because, you know, they do it really well. And it's a little bit heavier with the harder vocals on there. And, well, I mean, ultimately, I just want to be entertained with this band. Like, they're just a flat-out fun band. If you love Municipal Waste, if you love just kind of goofy, heavier thrash metal, a little bit of power trip and enforced too. I mean, yeah, this is just riffs and energy and guts and snot and whatever else is trapped inside of those bags. Check this out. This is an awesome listen.
Well, didn't leave me much to talk about. Yeah, it's also 4 for me. It's a very good time. I love the theatric vocals. It's very groovy. I like surfabilly things. Like I wish more bands did that, but I'm glad that this one definitely does. The drum work is solid. The production, outside of some minor tweaks, maybe a little bassy, maybe bring some guitar tones up or make them less thin, that might help out. But overall, it was a great time. From song to song, it never lost my attention, and I like the fact that it goes from punky and thrashy to a little bit more groovy and gets downright heavy in the end. Although I haven't been a big Ghoul fan, and this might be the first I heard, I definitely need to check out more of it because it was a really good time. Kind of like Nick said, if you like stuff like Enforced and Power Trip and Midnight, definitely Exhumed because, obviously, even a little bit of snot I caught in the mid portion of Shotgun Gulch.
What a coincidence, they probably caught snot in those bags.
They likely caught snot in the bags. I don't ever want to smell the inside of the bag, but
that's what you get if you do the meet and greet.
Oh, man. Put this on, take a picture. No, anyway, yeah, it was a good time. I definitely recommend checking it out. I will probably listen to this more in the future, just because it's good fun.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below to thrallsmetal.com. Our Patreon link is there. It is also on our channel on the banner in the bottom right-hand corner. But if you're looking for Thralls Metal stuff, you have to go to thrallsmetal.com. We have new shirts. We have old shirts that are discounted, provided we have your size. We even have hats, too, so if you're looking for any of that stuff, click the link down below.
Lots of stuff coming from Thralls of Metal, tons more reviews. We got our discography rankings coming. Black Dahlia Murder, in theory, will be filmed here in a couple weeks. And then not too long after that, we have the Almighty Meshuggah ranking, which is going to suck. What's John Jamming will make a return. I've got some things going on that I'm not going to get into, but What's John Jamming will make a return here at some point. States of Metal, collection updates, because you know this guy likes to buy CDs, so always something to keep you entertained, which is why we do it. We do this for you guys. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you for continuing to follow us and talk to us and watch these reviews and talk about them some more. I don't know. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. We genuinely appreciate you, and thank you from the bottom of our blackened little hearts or lungs or Well, both, really. Our lungs are probably screwed. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely awesome. Tons of content coming your way. And just stay tuned because, I already said why.
Yeah.
So, once again, big thank you, and we will catch you later.